my friend. Welcome to the study on this chill autumn evening as the fog floats through the last of the sunlight. Let's delve into the spooky, sometimes creepy world of shortwave radio espionage. We will be joined by SG at your service, a superbly talented ASMRtist whose channel you can find here. At the height of the Cold War, one of the ways spies in the field would transmit messages to each other was by a series of numbers read out on the airwaves. Amateur radio enthusiasts would pick up these transmissions and, not knowing the explanation or having any explanation to hand, would find them mysterious and even unsettling. From the comfort of the study, we are going to have a look at the history of these broadcasts, learn a little about ciphers and the one-time pad to decode them. We will even read some Suetonius. How could we not? It would not be the study without it. SG will explain the technique to decipher this code. Then I will transmit a coded message from the study to SG, who will elucidate more of the secrets of the cipher on his channel, SG ASMR at your service, and crack our secret message. The actual use and purpose of these number stations and the frequencies where these transmissions are found remain shrouded in mystery. Their purpose is so secret that even today it remains speculation that they are used for spies and for governments to communicate with them in the field. Amateur radio enthusiasts around the world began to pick up bizarre broadcasts that were signaled by a short, sometimes weird melody or beeps, followed by an odd voice reciting groups of numbers in different languages. Though no agency or government has ever admitted to broadcasting or receiving these transmissions, it has been deduced that they are coded messages that, with shortwave radio, can be sent over very long distances. Shortwave radio enthusiasts who listened for these named them after the melodies or interval signal that preceded the code, such as Cherry Wipe or the Lincolnshire Poacher, two prolific English numbers stations. The Swedish Rhapsody preceded East German transmission, and one particularly spooky station had recorded church bell chimes on magnetic tape that over time stretched and resulted in a very weird gong sound, becoming known as the gong station, preceding Polish numbers. These melodies, or signals, were broadcast several times to let the recipient know that the correct station was ready to broadcast their message. These signals added to the creepy atmosphere, as some of them were electronic melodies. Some from Eastern Europe used the weird magnetic tapes that would stretch out and become eerily distorted, and some voices sounded like a child's voice, making very unsettling and haunting listening. The first number stations were observed during the First World War and have continued ever since. Despite technology having developed improvements in communications over the years, this remains a convenient way to send messages in one direction, requiring only a radio to receive and a one-time pad to decode the message. This circumvents any areas where other forms of technology or transmission are censored or confiscated. It cannot be traced or tracked, and as the key was one use only, it is entirely indecipherable by anyone but the recipient. High-frequency radio signals can be transmitted at low power and can travel around the world under ideal atmospheric conditions, and can be received with a properly tuned antenna and a good receiver. The spy had but to find a radio, tune in at a specified time to a specified frequency, and decipher the code using the one-time pad. This message, being paper, could then be easily destroyed, as opposed to any software, which inevitably and always leaves traces. These numbers would be listed in groups of 4 or 5. The code itself is a type of substitution cipher, one of the oldest and still widely used encryptions. Is what is commonly called Caesar's cipher, a substitution cipher that requires the recipient to have a key in order to read the message. Suetonius, among several Roman authors, writes in his Lives of the Caesars about just such substitution codes. Two here used by Julius Caesar and Augustus, hence the name. In our Loeb edition of Suetonius, we have accounts of Julius Caesar writing letters in code. Epistulae quoque eius ad senatum extant, quas primum videtur ad paginas, et fornam memoralis libelli convertisse, cum ante a consule seduces non nisi transuersacciata, scriptas mitterent. There are also letters of his to Cicero, as well as to his intimates on private affairs, and in the letter, if he had anything confidential to say, he wrote it in cipher, that is, by so changing the order of the letters of the alphabet that not a word could be made out. If anyone wished wishes to decipher these and get at their meaning, he must substitute the fourth letter of the alphabet, namely D for A, and so with the others. We also have mention of certain writings of his boyhood and early youth, such as the praises of Hercules, a tragedy Oedipus, and a collection of apothegms. But Augustus forbade the publication of all these minor works in a very brief and frank letter sent to Pompeius Macer, whom he had selected to set his libraries in order. In the life of Augustus, we see that he took the example from his adoptive father, Julius Caesar. Nec ego id notarem nisi mihi mirum videretur, disse aliquos legatu, eum consulare successorum dedissi, ut rudi et indocto cuius manu ixi pro ipsi scriptum animadverterit, quotiens autem per notas scribit B pro A, C pro B. Of course, his frequent transposition or omission of syllables as well as of letters are slips common to all mankind. I should not have noted this, did it not seem to me surprising that some have written that he cashiered a consular governor as an uncultivated and ignorant fellow, because he observed that he had written ixi for ipsi. Whenever he wrote in cipher, he wrote B for A, C for B, and the rest of the letters in the same principle, using AA for X. How do we use a key to decode our substitution cipher? Let's go to SG.
One time pad. What is it? It is a cipher. And the main quality of this cipher, it is that this cipher is unbreakable. Why? Well, because if you receive a message like this one with five numbers, actually you can read it, decode it, and find every message possible with 5 digits. If you use any key, that's to say, there is a key that exists that can give you any possible message. So, if you don't have the exact key, you cannot find it, you cannot deduce it. So, if you send a message, if you receive a message without the key, you can message, it is possible, or the exact opposite. So without the key, it is unbreakable. How does it work? For example, if you want to break, no, not to break, to send the message yes, you have first to use this table. Every letter is a number between 0 and 25. So yes, it's Y24. E is 4 and S is 18. So now you have to code that. How do you do that? You have to use a key that has the same length than the message. So 5 digits. And it has to be a random key. So for example, so you have a key with the same length. It is a random and it has to be used only once. That's why it is called a one-time pad. And now, what you have to do to code, it is to add the digits. 9 plus 2, it's 11. But when you have 11, it is over 10. Well, over 9 actually. But what we want, it's a code with the same number of digits. So you only have to keep the final digit of your result. So 9 plus 2, it's 11. So you only keep the 1 at the end. 7 plus 4, it's 11 too. So you only keep the 1 at the end. 8, well, 8, it's the result. No, 4 plus 4, it's 8. 3 plus 1, it's 4. And 9 plus 8, it's 17. So you only keep the 7. And you have your code, your coded message. 11847. If you want to try to decode that, so you have 11847. So you can decode it by, well, 1 it's B, 1 it's B, 8 it's I, 4 it's E, and 7 it's H. So it could be that. But 11, it's also L. 8, it's I. E, H, it's the same. So it could be that. But you can also have 1, it's B. 18, it's S. 4, it's E. And 7, H. And I think it's the only possibilities. But it doesn't mean anything. Nor this, nor this, nor this. Well, neither this, nor this. And not only this. So you have to code it. But receive this message, you have to get the key. Either you have the key before or you receive it after, but you have to get it, to have it, in addition to the message, to be able to decode it. So what do you do when you have that? The code, the coded message, and the key. You have not to add this time, but to subtract the coded message with the key to find the original message. So here you have to do 1 minus 9, but it's not possible. So you have to think that it's not 1 but 11. 11 minus 9, it's 2. 1 minus 7, it is not possible to. Well, it is not possible either. So you have to imagine that it's 11 minus 7. So 4. 8 minus 4, it's 4. 4 minus 3, it's 1. And 7 minus 9, it's not possible. So you have to do 17 minus 9, it's 8. So you have your message that is decoded, and now you have to replace it with the correct letters to read it. So it's not always easy to find the correct way to decode it, because if you decode it, it can be 2, it's a C, 4, it's a E, 1, it's a B, and 8, it's an I. So if you don't have the length of the word that is behind that, it's difficult sometimes to decode, because some letters are replaced by 2 digits and not only 1 digit. So you have to try all the possibilities. So here it can be 2 and then 4, but it can also be 24. So you don't know. So for example, it can be CEEBI, but it doesn't mean anything. It can also be CEE and then 18. It's an S. CEES. It doesn't mean anything. It can also be 24. It's Y, then E, and then B, I. Yebi. Yebi, yebi, yebi. Yebi, 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 yebi. Yebi, yebi. It's interesting. It's really tingly. Really ASMR. Yebi, 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 yebi. Yebi, 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 yebi. But it doesn't mean anything. And then, well, it can be 24. It's Y. 4. It's an E. And 18. It's an S. Whoa. It is yes. Yes. So you decode. You have decoded the message. So it's a one-time pad. And now I want to say this to you. With this key, can try to decode it. Yeah, I let you find what it means. It is not a really difficult message, but the system is the same.
Can we decode this? 8 minus 7, 11 minus 9, 7 minus 3, and 5 minus 1. So we know that 4 is E. There can't be a 44. 1 B. 2 is C. But that doesn't work. Let's try 12. Me. What about 24? Someone's coming. I have now sent a coded message to SG at your service. If you would like to hear that message and watch SG decipher it with his decoding one-time pad, you can go to his channel and the link for the video will be in the description. I hope you have enjoyed this spooky trip into the world of espionage on the shortwave radio. I hope, my friend, that you have found this relaxing. And I wish you a very peaceful evening. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, be good to yourself, be kind to others,